In this concluding segment, let's look at what Lewis is trying to get us to understand about heaven. In The Problem of Pain, the last chapter is dedicated to talking about the happiness of heaven. And he talks about how it is that all the worldly goods out there that please us only please us because they share in God's goodness. He goes further and points out that even the individual and very personal longings that we have for happiness are intimations, hints of this perfect happiness. So the things that we enjoy in our own individual way suggest that even though God is the only good who can make us perfectly happy, that we'll receive Him in different ways. We are made for God like a glove is made for the hand. God will look to the soul as its first love because He is its first love. George MacDonald was friends with Mark Twain and apparently influenced in some ways. At the end of his life, after the death of his wife and daughter, Twain became very bitter and deeply anti-religious. He wrote a work which was not published until the 1960s, which was called The Letters from the Earth. These are letters from Satan to the Archangel Michael. Among the other things that Twain attacks is the Christian view of heaven. He has Satan writing to the Archangel Michael and telling him, you wouldn't believe what these human beings think heaven is. They talk about it as just church, singing, praising, worshiping. Who would want this forever and ever? They dread church on earth. They're bored by church on earth. Most human beings can't sing, and yet somehow they think that they're going to do this for eternity and be happy. Also, the things that are the most intense sensual and physical pleasures for them, like lovemaking, aren't in heaven at all. What kind of heaven is this? What Twain didn't see is that heaven is not a place for merely natural human beings. Lewis, in The Great Divorce, helps us to see that the happiness of heaven demands that you are a certain kind of person, somebody who's been renewed, recreated. The beauty and goodness of heaven are the beauty and goodness of God Himself. And only the soul remade in Christ will enjoy these things. If we are still stuck in our fallen nature, our selfish nature, these things, these divine, beautiful, and radiant things that God offers us will not make us happy. In fact, heaven cannot make us happy unless we are holy. And that is why the Christian life is a life of holiness, a supernatural life, living for a supernatural good. I've described before in the chapter on Sarah Smith how it is that heaven is, in Lewis's words, a great dance where the Master Himself leads the revelry, giving Himself eternally to His creatures in generation, back to Himself in sacrifice of the Word, the eternal dance that makes heaven drowsy with the harmony, that there is joy in the dance, but that does not exist for the sake of joy. It doesn't even exist for the sake of the good or of love. It is love Himself, God Himself, and therefore happy. Now, perhaps it sounds strange to talk about heaven as dance and celebration. In fact, in the letters to Malcolm, Lewis takes up the objection that somehow, aren't you making heaven sound frivolous by turning it into this great kind of cosmic dance, this kind of great cosmic celebration? Well, the problem is that a lot of the celebration, quite frankly, recreation that we have down here is for the means of our work, for the means of the business that we have of carrying out life. So we have our work time, which we need to support our families and our life. And then we have these times of rest and recreation so that we're strengthened to be able to go back and do that. But that is not something that makes sense in heaven. All of our work is done. The term is over. The holidays have begun. It is heaven which is the end of ends, the ultimate goal. And so joy is the serious business of heaven. Well, we've come to the conclusion of The Great Divorce. I hope that you found these lectures helpful and edifying. There are many more things to read of C.S. Lewis's that address the Christian life and the life hereafter, and I hope you'll feel free to explore those and go deeper into what it is that C.S. Lewis offers. Thank you, and God bless.